The Senate's expected to reach a final vote before sometime in the morning, and that depends on your definition of morning. So let's talk about the directions this could go with. My first guest tonight, our pal Andrew Donaldson, up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Always good to see you now that you and I are in that vaunted age 45 club. Welcome.
Yeah, we're combined 90 years of life experience. How about that, buddy?
Hey, so whether we're talking about 45 years of life or 90 years of life, whatever, we're seeing this big debate going on right now. And look, the partisan lines are drawn. We know that. But over the weekend, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, there was some expectations she might vote no to open debate. And then, of course, she got some extras in the bill. I think that underscores why people are often cynical about this process.
Yeah, she drove up the price is the layman's term for what she did. She held out. She ran up her price. She got all kinds of cutouts, which the parliamentarian is busy taking a shovel to right at the moment as we speak, from what we understand. But let's just back up for a second. Let's understand that the greatest experiment in the history of the world of a free people self-governing is currently doing something called a vote-a-rama. That's a Trent Lott wording for those of you that were playing at home and had that on their bingo card. Vote-a-rama, that's what we're reduced to. We're negotiating against false deadlines again. We're jamming things through. We're doing omnibus plus with the one big beautiful cluster FARC. This is a mess of how we're supposed to be governing, and now we're just assuming, and now we're doing even better thing. We're doing a slow walk vote-a-rama because they're having to rewrite it and fix it as they go. This is amazing stuff, Jim.
Well, I think people are also learning about the intricacies of the U.S. Senate because nobody knew who the parliamentarian was going into this. Now, for some people, Elizabeth McLaughlin is a boogeyman. Other people think she's a hero. She's just doing her job. She doesn't want to be part of this. I don't think she expected to be dragged into this mess, but it's her decision to figure out what jives with these archaic Senate rules here.
What she is she is an electoral defensive fighting position. These people all know, all the Congress critters, all the senators, they know what will and will not pass the parliamentarian, but what they can do is they can throw it up there anyway, say, I tried to do this, and then blame the parliamentarian when it's not going to get thrown through, and then it's, oh, the system, or it's the elites, or it's D.C., or it's the swamp. They know ahead of time, so it's just kind of a convenient device for the most part for these folks. Okay,
so look, there's a lot of different things in this bill, and I remember when we were talking about Joe Biden's Build Back Better, another BBB, and there was just so much thrown into one massive bill here that did not pass at the time. But this, we're talking about things like tax cuts, the Trump-era tax cuts. In your estimation, good thing or a bad thing to extend those?
Well, the thing is that they were put in for this exact reason with a sunset date, because now you've got to put them in or it is cut. And that's the argument that's being made. So it's one of those things that once it became a reality, now you got to deal with it. So whether you like them or not, you can talk about fiscal responsibility down the road. That's out the window with the way this bill's relating. It's just the way it was designed to do is you put it in. Now, anytime if you try to remove it or scale it back, you're saying you're cutting taxes, you're raising taxes. It's another one of those devices that once you do it, it gets to be something of eternal life in a government program sort of thing.
There's been a lot of talk about Medicaid in this bill, and one of the things that could be in the proverbial crosshairs are smaller hospitals in rural areas, West Virginia, North Carolina, what have you, even Western Pennsylvania. I know many in the rural parts there that could be at risk here. But the government says Medicaid is broken and needs to be reformed in some way, shape, or form. True or false?
It needs to be reformed some way, shape, or form, but the problem is every time they go to do something like this, it's exactly what you said. It's the rural hospitals that get beat up. It's primary care. It's not the big conglomerations, which are the problem, pushing all the downward pressure from above down on everybody else. It's the rural hospitals. It's retirees. It's pensioners trying to get their coverages. That's who gets hurt first. So if you're going to reform things, you probably want to do it the other way around, but every time it ends up being this way, and that should be telling us why people are really prioritizing in Congress over this matter.
Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, it was well known that he was going to vote against it. He stuck to his word. He voted no. The president immediately attacked him on social media. Then the next day he said, I'm not running again. And while we can talk about the electoral ramifications for that, the fact remains, there's got to be a certain freedom. If you're a member of Congress, you say you're not running for re-election to the Senate, you could do and say whatever you want. You don't have to face the voters. You don't have to worry about raising money. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
This is bad, especially for Tillis, who's probably 98% voting with the president. And he is very quietly, because he's not a big social media guy, very quietly a very important GOP member of the Senate as far as getting things done, pushing things through, actually doing the work of the Senate. And now he's not going to be there anymore. And now that seat that was already going to be contended is really going to be in danger electorally. But no, it's very bad because, once again, you have somebody, whether you like their politics or not, they just knew how to do the job, and they weren't sufficiently loyal to the president only. And that's bad all the way around, and it's going to get worse like this because this is probably your one big piece of legislation to get through, and this is going to be the litmus test for all the GOP folks going into the midterms. Like, did you vote for this or not as far as their primaries go? And a lot of them are probably going to get primaries if they don't play ball.
Well, and as we heard Elon Musk say, the ones who don't vote for it, the ones who vote it down, he will support them, whereas you have the president looking at the likes of Thomas Massie and saying, we're going to throw money to back challengers there.
Yeah, he'll do it. But Elon, we got to kind of wait and see what mood he's in. He's still very upset about the breakup and getting pushed out of government and not getting all the things he wants. So we'll see what he actually does with his money when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
But that is the risk. We can get big money donors. We can get the president to say mean things about you. We can primary you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of arm twisting and pushing and pulling to try to get this thing across the finish line.
All right, Andrew Donaldson up late with me on the Final Five. Anytime somebody puts a tie on and joins me on TV, I appreciate it. So good to see you again, my friend.
I don't wear green this late at night for just anybody, buddy. You're special, and I appreciate you.
Thanks, Andrew. We're back after this.
Yes, sir.